Hola from Palmilla, Mexico. Beautiful weather down here as we approach Christmas, and had a few things that have been working on my mind. I've been thinking about questions that we all have and answers we're looking for. And I think that each and every one of you striving to become, overcome, do what you want to do, and get ahead in your life and not lose sight of your vision and your dreams are working on how to overcome some choke points in your life. What are the choke points in your life that are holding you back from what it is you're looking for? You know, as I think about this trip I took to Desolation Sound, as you can see, Desolation Sound Yacht Club here on my shirt, I think about the shakedown cruise that April and I did on our new yacht as we took it up to the beautiful Canadian boundary waters, all the way up, halfway up to the top of Vancouver Island, up by Campbell River, and the gorgeous, gorgeous scenery up there, the beautiful fjords and the gorgeous boats, and just the incredible cruising time in one of the most beautiful places on earth. I would rival it with probably the Greek Isles, the Caribbean, and there's probably many other areas in the world that have nice, beautiful islands and fjords like that, possibly up there in Scandinavia, the Baltic Sea. But we took our boat on a shakedown cruise. We just acquired it, and we thought, okay, we're gonna have to work some things out on this baby. Let's do about a 300-mile cruise up and 300 miles down and see what happens. Well, we had a pretty uneventful cruise, other than just enjoying the fool out of ourselves, but there were a few things that popped up that could have been huge choke points if I hadn't known some of the right people to call, especially when the generator was not turning on. It was just kept turning over and over and over, but it wouldn't turn on, and I wasn't sure exactly what it was until somebody informed me that is more than likely the solenoid or the solenoid. And indeed, there was a way to manually push in that solenoid. It's kind of scary. I had one of my friends with me who was pushing that solenoid in at the count of 3 as I cranked that baby, and bam, it started immediately. But the solenoid needs replacing. It's probably only a $15 part, but probably $100 worth of labor, what have you. And that could have caused some problems with low batteries and not being able to generate electricity when you're out on the briny blue, or you're out on the hook, so to speak, in some of the beautiful places up there like Squirrel Cove or T-Kern Arm, etc. So you got to know some of the right people that already have the experience, and you got to know where to go. And we had GPS and radar and charts and the handheld charts, electronic GPS charts also. So we really had a very good idea where we're going, what the winds were doing, what the waves are doing, what the currents are doing, what the tides are doing. A lot of different moving parts that require you to be on the ball, or else you will get into some problems, particularly if you're not checking the weather reports. I remember one night I was, we were up in a place called, I think it's called Gibson Landing, beautiful spot, still in BC, north of Vancouver, and we had a great meal there, April and I, and we were docked there, and it was about 11 o'clock at night. April was already bedded down, and I was reading over some of the charts and trying to discern, you know, what we were going to do tomorrow as we go across the Straits of Georgia, which can be a very imposing run of anywhere between 18 to 30 miles, depending which direction you go, and depending if there's fog and following waves and following seas, as they call it, and the wind and all the crazy stuff that can put you into a state of peril, particularly if you're going out at the wrong time. There was a knock on my window, and this individual said, "You're plugged into the wrong jack on the dock." And I said, "I'm plugged into the wrong jack. What do you mean?" He says, "Well, I have the boat next to you, and you're using my jack, which is okay because you're renting the spot, and I don't need to be plugged into power, but I'll switch it off for you." Well, it's kind of weird at 11 o'clock at night. It's pitch dark, and somebody who've never met before knocking on your window. But we made a friendship, and he's a former pilot and does a lot of sailing. We were in a motor yacht, twin engine motor yacht, and he explained to me about some of the things to be looking out for in terms of getting across that strait in the morning, what time to leave, and how long that crossing might be, and where we would go, and would we go to Gabriola Inlet over by Silva Bay, and all these details. And it was kind of like I went from a state of some jitters and concern because the weather had been a little ugly to I was confident and slept like a log that night. Slept well. We got up early, and when we cast off, and off we went, and got to safe waters and beautiful weather, and ended up getting all the way down to Friday Harbor, which is another gorgeous spot in the U.S. San Juan Islands, and joined up with some friends of ours. So the reason I tell you that story is because I'm thinking about you, whoever you happen to be, with whatever you're doing in your life, is what's your guiding light. And some of you are people of faith. Some of you are people of meditation. Some of you are people that you're not sure where you came from, other than it was the byproduct of your parents getting together physically. But, you know, what was your existence before that, if anything? And what are you really here for? What are you here to accomplish? And how can you have a state of purpose and joy and happiness and productivity, yet just have a great, fulfilling life? And then, man, where are you going to go when we check out of this ball of mud called planet Earth, which really is, in so many ways, the Garden of Eden? I mean, you take a look at where we're at here right now in Palmilla, and somebody had the vision to build the one and only Palmilla Hotel. It was probably just called the Palmilla Hotel back in the 50s. And so this whole area was undeveloped. It was just dirt roads and a fisherman town down in Cabo, and really didn't have much of a marina, although there was a protected area to bring boats into, but it was not some kind of sophisticated or modern type marina like we have today. And so this whole development that I'm a part of started actually in the, I think, the late 80s, early 90s with Via Del Mar and Palmilla in general. So think of this as that the Palmilla one and only hotel is sort of like an anchor tenant for this physical stretch of land around here that's probably hundreds of acres, and there's hundreds and hundreds of beautiful homes with a 27-hole golf course, the ocean course, a Nicholas Ocean Course. Absolutely beautiful. But at one point, this was undeveloped. It was just raw land with, you know, weeds and maybe some palm trees, and just really rocky and uneven, and just wasn't that pretty, except for the Sea of Cortez that's behind me over here, which you could look at and just go, wow, that is absolutely gorgeous, on Playa Palmilla, which is the beach called the Palmilla Beach right there. So somebody had the vision to see this and to organize and put together like a team of individuals, mastermind, architects, engineers, geotechnical people, and marketing people, and builders, and you name it, to put all this together, from grading roads to paving roads to putting pavers in with our roads, and then dividing up this land into a 27-hole golf course, and then building lots, or, you know, designing lots that would be attached to each fairway, and so forth and so on. So it's a pretty amazing fulfillment of a vision of the original developer that bought this land, and then kept buying more and more and more of this land. Just like down in Cabo, there's an area called Pedregal, and there was a family, I think the father was a dentist that was a really adept investor, and in the I don't know, probably mid-70s, bought all that land on that hillside, sort of like a bit of a mountain, and then has been selling that off for generations, with some very, very beautiful view homes looking out at the Pacific Ocean. So these are people that have been proactive, vision-driven, with a mission to provide an incredible product. And you provide a great enough product, when you build it, they will come, and then that brings cash flow to then reinvest back into this development, to then build it out more and more and more and more. And as you can imagine, along the way, as all the sales take place, and the development, the cost of development, there's a lot of money being made by people that are the developers, but they also take the risk because they could lose money where sales go down depending on what the U.S. economy is. and the economy in Mexico, etc. So you have to have the vision and the staying power to keep going and keep believing in what you're doing, and yet take the risk that the whole thing could indeed fail. And there's developments like that all over the United States and all over the world, some of which have made it, and they're unbelievable, and they're the finest developments that anybody would want to live in, and others of which are still kind of pasture land. So my question to you is, in your brain here, you have a pasture, and you have a very fertile pasture. And that pasture has, I don't know what the number is exactly, say 10 trillion brain cells, some crazy number, or maybe it's 100 billion. There's just a lot of brain cells, the whole body that carries this head, that carries this brain, which is the commander of your throne, so to speak, the throne to your future. The body has like trillions and trillions and trillions of cells, and then in the gut, in the stomach, there's probably, oh my gosh, the number is almost a billion neuronal type cells down there that work through this thing called the vagus nerve to the brain, and they interconnect. And sometimes you notice that you feel a little queasy if something scary is happening, and you feel it in your stomach, and then it sends a message up here, then your heart goes fast, and your breathing speeds up, you either turn pale, you turn red, fight or flight, etc., and all these different hormones and cortisols and serotonins and dopamines and adrenaline start flowing, and wow, big things happen. So you have a great, complex, unbelievable sort of temple, okay? Your body is the temple for this creative force right up here. And some people believe that that creative force up here was created by a infinite power called God, and the creative intelligence, the great creator, and that it was created in his image in such a way that you, even though you're a unique, special individual with only your fingerprints, only your retinal pattern, and your DNA, and your chromosomes, etc., and the genetics you have going on inside of your whole body, that even as unique as you are also created in his image, and indeed you are so similar to your fellow wayfarers. I'm talking about the individuals that are your friends and neighbors and so forth, and relatives and family and friends and whatever it happens to be. So we all have some incredible potential. We all have some limitations, but the greatest, most powerful, unlimited force is what happens up here through the creative power of the mind. And my question to you is, what do you think you need to do to gin up that power in your mind? I think it starts with a sense of gratitude, to be thankful for what you have in your life, to be thankful for whatever your giftedness happens to be, and to carry a mindset of optimism versus pessimism. And optimism, where yes, you have wisdom and you have experience and you are guarded in certain ways over certain things through what you have learned. Wisdom is learning through trials and errors, so you can learn the path. Like when you're going to go through a minefield, an explosive minefield, you better follow somebody that's already done that and has kind of got the trail marked off, instead of blowing off a limb or two or getting killed. So in your life, you can have an enriched life full of optimism that could be shaken down and pressed down and overflowing, or you can lead a life of victimhood. Can't do this, can't do that. This person said this, that person said that. And I remember I didn't get enough encouragement. I remember, I was not the popular kid. I remember, my gosh, I failed at this, failed at that, or whatever it happens to be. And I'm here to tell you that there are so many outlier stories of individuals that have created greatness in their lives because they made a decision to turn the corner and then put the sweat equity into it and employed this power called grit. Just like that great author Dr. Duckworth talks about in her book this, why do some kids seem to have it and others don't? And it boils down to grit. Now, I'm a believer, and I've seen it myself, I've seen it in others, that you can manufacture gin up and tune up grit. And it starts with a clear vision, writing down a clear vision, and then writing it down in such a way that you can understand the vision, and somebody else who potentially would like to join in that vision, that you would handpick, that you would trust, they could read it and they could run with it. And then you turn it into a burning desire by simply reading it, reciting it, thinking about it all the time. And what happens is the reticular activating system of your brain begins to notice things in your life that would be helpful for the fulfillment of that goal, vision, or dream, and the activities necessary to make that happen. People start coming into your life. You recognize that like-mindedness, and it's like, wow, where did that come from? And I think it ties into the universal power of your Creator, who wants to give you the desires of your heart. But if you don't know what the desires of your heart are, and you'll never know what they are until you actually, roll up your sleeves, put on your hip waders, and wade into the middle of it to go through trial and errors and failures and successes. And when you have a setback, you make a comeback, not a step back. You make a comeback when you have a setback. And so that infinite power, all things are possible through God, right? So if you believe you have this relationship with God where He's watching out for you, and that if you get to know Him better and His truth will set you free from freedom from fear, freedom from doubt, freedom from anger, freedom from dumb thinking, freedom from speaking negative, freedom from laziness, freedom from casting dispersions on what it is you could have, because you say, my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, nobody I've ever known, my friends have ever done this or done that, or they say this won't work, that won't work. Well, you're taking counsel from people that don't have a burning desire. I'm not saying they don't care about you, but they don't know enough to really, truly know how to care about you, to help you water your garden of Eden in your mind that has unlimited power, unlimited scope, that is stronger and greater than the greatest supercomputer ever conceived of by man. I've been told by some people that the computing capability of this brain, you'd have to fill up like the entire Empire State Building with computer circuitry and use the water from Niagara Falls to cool those computers, with fans and all this sort of thing and air conditioning, in order to reach the potential, if even possible, of the human intellect and the human mind, the human brain. So I just hope that what I shared with you here has helped you and kind of give you another kind of just click of the dial to make a difference in your life, and that through you making a difference in your life, you leave a legacy for those that you love, your progeny, your kids, your nieces, nephews, or your dear friends or their kids, because in many cases you don't have nieces and nephews or brothers or sisters or your own kids, but your friends have kids and grandkids, and they become kind of like your uncle such and such, your great uncle such and such, because you're part of that family, even though that wasn't your blood family. So I just want to let you know that love is the answer. Love thyself. Love others. When you love thyself and love others and love God, it becomes like this eternal triangle that brings infinite potential to you. Love yourself. So how do you love yourself? You say, I'm so stupid, I'm so dumb, I'm this, I'm that. No. You say yourself, excuse me, as you look in the mirror, I'm awesome. And I'm becoming better every day. And I'm so thankful for the blessings that I had yesterday. So you learn how to write down your blessings, and I'm so thankful for those blessings. And you have a little prayer, you have a little meditation, and you reinforce the circuitry of your brain that brings this infinite power, as opposed to, I'm dumb, I'm always screwing up on this, I'm always screwing up on that, or this person's so dumb, or this person's screwing up on this all the time, oh my gosh, and gossip and deranged thinking and diminutive thinking. Hey, let's think positive, and let's be encouraging and look for the best in others, the best in ourselves, and get a burning desire and trust that there's an infinite power through the Creator that's going to guide us and direct us along the way as a pilot, with us kind of co-pilots together with this power that He gave us in this cerebral cortex up here to change your thinking, and then change your life. So I hope that makes sense to you, and got lots of good book recommendations for you. I've mentioned them many times, stuff like The Go-Getter, The Gift Giver, Magic of Thinking Big, Confidence and Power in Dealing with People, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Think and Grow Rich, etc., etc., etc. Lots of great books that can help change your life and help direct your thinking. So I just want to tell you that you're awesome, you're incredible, and I can't wait to meet you. I don't know if I'm going to meet you in one of my business meetings, one of my lectures, one of my motivational talks. I don't know if I'm going to meet you, just in a coffee shop somewhere. You go, oh, I'm just watching you right now, David. Whatever. I look forward to the day I can say, I'm just watching you too. Life changer. So just want to let you know I love you. You say, how can you love me? Because I just do. I just feel that sense of love. And you say, but you don't even know specifically who I am. When I meet you, I will sense love. And I just want to let you know I care about you, I believe in you, and I look forward for you to have the best of your life ever. So have a great day. Thinking about you. We'll talk to you real soon.